Okay, gonna make a quick one here. My partner's supposed to be home in a little bit. Here we go. Let's see. Okay, so this one's about low-cost flea control. I'm trying to tighten this thing a little bit so you can see my company name here. Okay, low-cost flea control. A lot of people don't really know too much about flea control. They just believe whatever they've been said, and I've learned the hard way how to control fleas, having had multiple dogs, multiple cats in the house at the same time. This was years ago. Now we only have one cat. Makes indoor cat, completely indoor cat, makes it so much easier. But what happens is how you get fleas in your house is not from the humans going in and out, because fleas can't live on humans. I don't know what it is. I tried researching it lightly and I can't figure out what it is. Fleas just don't live on humans. It's animals going in and out of the house. So being that we had dogs, the dogs have to go outside to go to the bathroom. Our cats were also indoor, outdoor, but we could have kept them indoor and they wouldn't have got fleas. But they did go outdoors too. Back in the day when we had multiple cats and dogs. But if they had stayed inside and we didn't have the dogs that needed to go outside, then we wouldn't have had a flea issue. But the flea issue got really bad. And what happens is the fleas, they can't live on humans, but they will get trapped in humans' clothing. Especially places where, elasticized places, your socks. I remember getting flea bites in my socks. I'd have these welts. I could feel them biting me. And at first I didn't know it was fleas. And I was thinking maybe it was allergies, maybe allergy to soap, maybe allergy to fabric. I do have eczema, so I was thinking maybe that was it. But my eczema never presented in them red little welts like I was seeing. And eventually I figured out it was fleas. I would also get them around my waistline. It would be, the fleas would get trapped. And like if I had an elasticized waist or, a belt around there where the fleas couldn't get out, they would start biting. They're trying to get out. But pretty much everywhere else, every once in a while they'd get trapped in my underwear. And I'd get bites around, the pubic area. Pelvic, I guess you should say pelvic area, not really the pubic area, just kind of on my bottom, on my thighs, where love handles would be. And every once in a while in my bra, they'd get stuck in my bra every once in a while, and I'd get, little bites there. But how I figured out doing this, the biggest issue is getting rid of the animals that go outside. There's eventually the dogs died off. Maybe one or two of the cats died off. And eventually I just made it to the point where it's like, we're only going to have a limited number of cats and they're going to be strictly indoor. We're not going to deal with this in and out because it's bringing in fleas. Ticks weren't so bad because they're not as numerous. They don't repopulate, as proficiently as fleas. And they're easier to see. They're so much easier to see, and therefore they're much easier to deal with. Picking them off the animals or seeing them on the wall. We'd even see them on the wall, But the biggest thing, then we had to get rid of these fleas that were already in our house. Now, this might have worked. I can't say whether or not it would have worked when we had the animals. I'm thinking it probably would have. But I didn't get that opportunity to try it because I didn't know about it until late, once we started getting the rid of the animals out of the house. This was the first and best thing I invested in. Okay. Virbac Knockout E.S. Now you see here that I got it from my vet. And it's $18. My vet's Stock Bowers in Waldron, Michigan. And at the time, now I got this years ago. If you use it right, one bottle will last you a long time. especially if you live in a smaller home like we do. The main ingredient, let me see here, is pyriproxyfen, pyrethrins, permethrin, and something called related components. Let me see if you can. This is a not very good camera, so you can't really see. It's kind of blurry there. Yeah, putting it back doesn't make it any better. But anyways, you put a very, 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 very light coating on your carpet. They said not to put, they said just to put it in the carpets, but I put a very light coating on the couch we had at the time. Not this couch, because we don't have the flea problem anymore, but the couch we had at the time, I put a very, very light coating on that. I put a very light coating on our hardwood floors. And I'd say within 3 days, the fleas were just completely gone. And when I say very light, I mean very light. And if you don't worry about missing spots, as long as you get the main area, because what's going to happen, if you miss a spot, fleas don't live in the same spot. Okay, they're going to be jumping around. How they travel is jump. You know, they're not going to live in one little spot, so they will get. Don't even move your furniture to do it. Just do it in the main area, because the fleas will eventually get it, and they'll get it quickly. They'll get some of this medicine on them quickly. And what you do is you let it dry, because you're putting such a very, very light, you know, spray on there. I would say this thing would dry in like 10 minutes. And don't vacuum it up. Let it dry. Just don't vacuum it up. I would recommend vacuuming before you do it, so you don't have to worry about vacuuming, you know, vacuuming some of this stuff up, you know, letting it work its magic. So vacuum before you spray it. Just spray a very light coating. You don't have to make sure you get all the areas. Just do the basic area. And this will stay on. And because it stays on, it'll not only get the fleas that are already there, it'll get the fleas, you know, the larva, pupa, whatever you call it, the fleas that hatch out of the egg. Another thing when it talks about fleas, fleas are very easy to get rid of. I heard everybody say, oh, they're so hard to get rid of. They're hard to get rid of if you don't know what you're doing and if you listen to popular theory, okay? I've learned the hard way, frontline flea, them flea drops, they don't work well. We've had luck with Advantage. Now, there's Revolution. We just got a couple, we just came into a couple doses of them. Our indoor cat doesn't need to be dosed because she's strictly indoor and we don't have any other indoor-outdoor animals, so she's safe from fleas. I don't know how the Revolution works, but the Frontline doesn't work at all. I used Frontline for a few years and it didn't do anything. It's when I switched to Advantage that we got good results. But you got to remember that when each flea is going to get a little bit of the medicine. That's how they die, right? So if you have a big infestation, the medicine you're using isn't going to work as long because each flea that dies is taking that medicine with them in their body or on their body, right? So when they fall off dead or they just die there on the animal, that's part of your medicine. So even though it says like, oh, you only have to give, I don't know how, I think this Revolution says every 3 months. I think Advantage was every month you were supposed to dose your animal. If you have a big flea infestation, it's not going to last. That medicine's not going to last that long. Now, one thing you can do, and this is another thing that a lot of people give them bad information, people who don't know what they're talking about, is talking out their behind and giving you bad information. The difference between dog and cat, or sizes when it comes to, you know, dose sizes when it comes to the applications, it's strictly just the amount that's put in each individual packet. You'll get a cat dose. It's the same exact medicine that's in the dog dose, you know, for like your German Shepherd. It's just the size of the dose is different. So what you can do is you can buy to save money, and this is what our vet did for us. You can buy the super big dog dose and take one of them needle syringes, stick it in that dose, and pull out the amount needed for your specific animals. Like for the cat, the dose is like 0.1 milliliter, and I would, you know, stick that needle in the, you know, in the German Shepherd size dose package, withdraw out the 0.1 milliliter, and take the syringe off the needle, and then, you know, apply it in between the shoulders of the cat. And then I go and pull out another 1 milliliter, and then take the next cat and, you know, take the needle off, put the dose in between the shoulders of the next cat. That'll save you a lot of money instead of buying individual doses. Plus, it's better for the environment because you don't have as much plastic with all these individual doses. But again, the exact medicine, exactly the same amounts. It's just the size of the application bottle, I guess you call it, little package. That's the only difference, you know, because they are made for single use, right? But yeah, anyways, so I don't know how much this is. I don't recommend getting it on Amazon because Amazon is destroying the world. But you could probably get it on eBay. It might be cheaper. This one, like I said, it was bought a few years ago. I think it was bought maybe 6 years ago. But we don't have a problem with, like I said, we don't have a problem with fleas. Every once in a blue moon, I will lightly spray the carpeted area in our house. Maybe once a year I do it, just as a preventative. But like I said, getting rid of fleas is not hard at all. If you use the right type of flea, if you do have animals that go in and out, that's how you're going to get your fleas. Putting them doses on the animal, then using the spray. You definitely won't have a problem. And if you do it, you wouldn't really be spending as much money either. Because like this thing here, it says prevents reinfestations for 7 months. So you don't have to, you know, you could probably get away with, if you're doing the flea drops, you probably would only have to put that on once a year. You know, and like I said, the best thing is just to have animals that don't go in and out. You know, I know that's impossible if you have a dog, but you could always make your cats just indoor cats or make them strictly outdoor cats. But it isn't that hard to do it. You know, just these two little simple things that only take a few minutes to do every several months. Anyways, it'll save you a lot of money, it'll save you a lot of heartache, and this is the right way of doing it. I've had to deal with this myself using various things. I tried all the natural things, like I've tried the lemon juice, I've tried the salt on the floor, I've tried the DE, diamitrous earth. That is good for outdoor use, especially in the chicken coop. But for indoor use, unless you like your house looking like crap with all this, you know, dusty crap around, you're going to have to vacuum that up. Another thing I wanted to tell you, another misnomer that's told often is that, like, you vacuum up the fleas and they'll just reproduce in your canister. Now we're all bagless, you know, all the vacuums are bagless. So now they used to say it would they'd multiply in your bag. Now they're saying, now they're trying to say they'll multiply in your canister, which is not really true, because like if fleas don't know where they're jumping, they can't tell where they're jumping, they can't see where they're jumping. We have a bird's eye view of them. They don't have any view of anything. They just jump, and wherever they land, they land. They have no idea where they're going. So once look at this canister. That's my vacuum canister. There's no way they can tell how to get out of that thing. And the likelihood that they would make it out is slim to none. They would have to somehow jump through up here, somehow get up here, go through the hose, and jump through the hose. It just wouldn't happen. Their lifespan, they'd be dead by the time they get out. And anyways, I don't know how they would even multiply. It's not habitable for multiplication of. It's not their environment where they could multiply, reproduce and mate. It's just not conducive to the natural mating experience of fleas. But if you, to be on the safe side, and this is what I've done, you could spray. See, mine is I love this bottom emptier. You get no dust whatsoever. What you can do is you can take your Virbac here, right? You can just lightly spray it like that. That was more of a spray than you need. But, yeah, you could just spray it with that, and the fleas would die once they get vacuumed up. Or you could put that DE diamitrous earth in the bottom. So when the fleas do get vacuumed up, they'll die. And the problem with the diamitrous earth, I would like to say, the diamitrous earth is good to put right on your animal's skin. That's another way you can prevent fleas or eliminate fleas off your cats and or property. You just take the diamitrous earth, and it's not expensive at all. I think I bought like a 10-pound bag for $13 on eBay. You just take the earth and rub it into the animal's skin. Again, you don't have to get thorough. You don't have to even get around their face. The fleas will eventually get it, because they just hop everywhere they go. They'll eventually get the diamitrous earth on them. Okay? Do not spray this stuff on your cats while I was at that. Use the diamitrous earth. Diamitrous earth is food safe. You can even put it in their foods. It's advised for, you can even mix it in their food, and it'll get rid of some of the worms they have, or some of the inside living things. It'll get that. And I put it in my cat's food, my outdoor cat's food, to help eliminate them from worms, and it gets into their system and comes out of their pores, and it helps keep the fleas away. But you can put it right on their skin if you're having a heavy infestation. But it's food safe. They can lick it. It won't hurt them at all. Okay. I have some. I put it in my chicken coop to keep the especially when my chickens go broody. They stay mostly on there. They only get off a couple times to eat and get water and stretch their legs. So they're not constantly getting out and getting them dust baths. The dust baths help protect them from getting all these fleas and vermin. What do you call them? Not chiggers. Them little mites, right? So when they're sitting on these eggs, because of the moisture and the heat that they're generating to incubate the eggs, that's ideal for mites. And I have time and time again had problems with mites when I don't use this diamitrous earth. You can sprinkle the DE right on the eggs. You can sprinkle it throughout the nest. Just put a very light coating. Again, mites will not stay, they're going to move about, so they will get the DE somewhere on the nest, on the eggs. But you could also, what you could also do, and what I do, is sprinkle it on the chicken while she's brooding and kind of rub it in her body. And if you can get it, you can get it on the underside of her body too, if she's willing to do that. You don't want to disrupt her from her incubation. So I would recommend waiting a week till she's really settled in to her incubation, and then try to get her underside or try to rub it in her. You can just sprinkle some on top at first and then just wait a week and then sprinkle some more on top and just kind of rub it in on her, rub her underside. But if you do it right at the beginning, it'll disrupt her incubation and she'll get off her her clutch, and she probably won't come back. I've had that problem too, where I've tried to adjust things too soon, you know, for safety, for the, you know, chicken and the eggs, and they've jumped off their clutch and didn't go back. So wait at least a week before you do any of this stuff for your hen. Again, do not use this on the chickens. Don't use that. That's just for your indoor carpet use. Let me see if there's anything else I can tell you about fleas and mites. I'm thinking that's it right now. My friend used DE before. I told her about this Virbac Knockout. It's called Virbac Knockout E.S. And she had to leave her DE down on the floor. And she would leave it along like the baseboards, you know, and it just looked really dusty. And that stuff does kick up, and it is bad for respiration. So that's why you want to use very little of it whenever you're using it, you know, because it'll poof up when you're applying it. It'll poof up and it'll get in your lungs, it'll get in the animal's lungs. So just use a very little bit. Make sure it's not windy when you're applying it, especially if you're applying it like in your chicken coop. I've had it where, you know, the wind was too strong and it just kind of blew up in my face and, you know, got in my respiration. And if you use it, you might want to put a mask on. I don't ever use it because I've learned not to use a bunch and stay out of the wind. And so, yeah, just use a very light amount of any of this stuff. Again, any questions? If you have any more, you know, I have a bunch of information because I deal with mites and fleas and ticks. Ask them below in the comments and I'll answer them. This is a very good, inexpensive, easy way to get rid of fleas. Don't believe people when they say once you got fleas, it's going to be like heck to get rid of them. I got rid of them super easy. Again, just leave questions, comments down below and I'll answer them.